Sanitation is another one of my pet peeves and probably the most important thing in beer making. If you are diligent about your sanitation, then a very mediocre beer will be drinkable. But you can take the best recipe in the world and through lack of sanitation turn it into something icky, something you wouldn't want to drink. Although it wouldn't be anything that would hurt you necessarily to drink it. It might taste like vinegar, but it would be drinkable. Beer has a couple qualities that's really nice. One of them is the presence of hops. Hops themselves have antibacterial properties. And so throughout the ages, hops became more known for this and more widely used because of it. So they kill off a whole range of things that get into beer. The beer's a little bit acidic, and the acid level in beer also kills off a bunch of things. You drink a lot of beer, yeah. It does. Yes, a lot of those bitter components in there are not only antibacterial, they are antioxidants. They're antioxidants, yeah. So beer, even though it's not touted as having all the antioxidants wine does, it has more, especially very hoppy beers and dark beers. More antioxidants than wine does. So the wine people can...
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness is really good. Yeah, the people that did the study on not antibiotics, I keep getting into that subject, antioxidants in wine, started with wine. You know, they could have chosen beer or wine. They're like, well, let's do wine, because I think it was mainly done in France. And so they started with wine. But later they tested beer, and then they found these other studies. But by then, the French winemakers were touting all these qualities like crazy to get people to buy more wine. So that got widespread, and the beer stuff largely got ignored. So that's why it's not as well known, but keep drinking your beer. It's good for you.
People don't like the real hoppy stuff either, the IPAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do, but
Yeah.
people don't.
One of the things I recommend is try the difference between an IPA and a regular pale ale. Because an IPA, an India Pale Ale, is very bitter. It is supposed to be bitter by style. Pale ales, like what we're making today, will be very hoppy, but not very bitter. Their bitterness should be pretty well balanced. So it's not really bitter, it's not really sweet, it's somewhere in the middle. But it's very hoppy. You'll smell and taste the hops strongly.
It is an acquired taste.
Yeah,
It
the
can
more
be.
I drink it, the darker, the more bitter I like it, but I think
Yeah.
it's everybody's taste development.
Yeah, it does. You start out drinking the lighter, fizzier commercial stuff. It's just the way it is. It's cheap. That's right. You're young and you go by what's cheap because you're purchasing based on dollar power. So that's what you drink. And then over time, yeah, you try other things. And if someone hands you an IPA, you don't even finish it. You're like, that's gross. But something about that you remember. And then over time, your palate will completely shift that way. And you find yourself, I can't find a beer bitter enough to make me happy. You know, it's like, how many IBUs is this? You're like a junkie, you know. It's like 100 IBUs. Oh, I got to try that one. So yeah, but then after a while you get bored with that and you discover other things.
Then you get into beer like, I've been to second shift out there quite a bit with
Oh
Steve.
yeah.
And then like the hibiscus whip beer they've got, make it out of flowers.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of options for flavoring beer.